What up, dog? Thank you for tuning in to Poetry and Conversations. I'm your host for the evening, Rap Talk Poetry. Just come on in. Just wipe your feet off at the door. That's all I ask. It's that you like. Subscribe if you ain't already. Subscribe to the channel. Flick this video to somebody else. Let them know to tune in. Let them know we live on YouTube. Poetry and Conversations. And the topic this evening is how hip-hop taught Black history. That's the topic for the evening. You can feel free to call in if you want to join the conversation. And the number to call in is 248-242-2947. That number is in the description. Just go in the description box. If I don't repeat it over and over and say it, and I forget. Of course, I like to start off the episode with a poem. So I'm going to give y'all something to marinate on before we get into the topic and discuss. We're going to talk hip-hop. It's Black History Month. And I'm kind of more asking about this question instead of just telling that hip-hop taught Black history. I'm also asking, did hip-hop teach our Black history? Listen to this poem, though. This piece is called Black Dysfunctions. I'm going to start off the episode like this. Black Dysfunctions. Listen to me. They rewriting history right in our face. What a disgrace. Killed in cold blood, no mistake, and still can't win the case. Judges echo hate. You see, the jury vision ain't blurry. It's more Black millionaires now more than ever. We moving forward. I get it, yeah, surely. But buy that chain. Push that whip. Ignore your needs and family deeds and treat all women like you a pimp. I ain't perfect. I battle my demons. Lusting for sex, let them out swimming and acting hard as they work to chase my semen. But is God sin? Or did he turn his back? That's just how we act. Kill, sell drugs, rob. We shouldn't have been exposed to seeing things like that. Uncles in prison. Daddies is missing. Respect who got more because you poor. It's a conscious decision. Look who you are. Look who you wasn't. Rise out the trap. And remove these Black dysfunctions. Black dysfunctions. That's that poem of peace. Snap, 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 snap. Snap, snap. Black dysfunctions. What we gonna do about it? Gotta break that chain, break them cycles. I say they're rewriting history right in our face. What a disgrace. Killed in cold blood, no mistake, and still can't win the case. Judges echo hate. The jury vision is blurry. Yeah, it's more Black millionaires now than ever. We moving forward, I get it, yeah, surely. But buy that chain, push that whip. Ignore your needs and family deeds and treat all women like you a pimp. Pimp. Let's talk though. Poetry and conversation. Let's get it. We got some layers to unpack. We got a little time. Let's talk about it. First of all, there's so many ways we can start it off when we talk about did hip hop teach black history? I mean, because we got to remember at the beginning of hip hop, it was a mirror. It was about educating. It was the voice of the streets. And as time moved on, with so much going on in the world, it was rolling over to the music with the Black Panthers, with the different Muslims, Islam, 5%ers, all types of just movements that people were involved in that was associated with hip hop. And of course, off top, the main people that stand out when we talk hip hop and teaching black history through their music. And that's one thing too with this conversation. I don't want to just bring it to just being positive. I know we had a lot of different positive rappers. So I want to get a little deeper than that. I don't want to get it confused to where we just steady just, I mean, I know it's a thin line, but I don't want it to be as if we just talking about people who were just positive. I'm talking about straight up rappers in hip hop who was teaching black history. I mean, let's just talk this off top. We know we had the KRS, we had Boogie Down Production. I mean, he was straight up talking about some things to where you would be scratching your head. It'd be like, damn, that's really black history. I mean, just imagine when we was in school, and of course we had our history books, and we had the merge of hip hop going on at the time, to where we was listening to music, but in school we had people talking at us and trying to reach us through history and through the textbooks and all of that. So just imagine leaving school after reading a textbook that's full of just history that's just, I mean, we know how they wrote history. So just imagine just leaving school after reading a couple of pages about Columbus or such and such, or these different presidents and discovering America and all that stuff, but you going home, popping in a Boogie Down Productions tape or listening to Public Enemy. Just imagine the different energy you got going on as a kid. I mean, I was one of them students. And if you're in my age bracket, you was one too. And especially if you was listening. I mean, you had songs like You Must Learn. You had Black Man in Effect. I mean, just the whole edutainment. That's where Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One got it from, because it was a merge and a mix of education and entertainment. I mean, even at his older album with the By Any Means Necessary, which come from Malcolm X, KRS-One, even though on the album cover, he was letting it be known already with the message that, okay, this what we on. So that was black history. So he was already merging that in his music. It was rappers doing that. You had some, like I said, you had your Public Enemy. You had Boogie Down Production. And sometimes I used to just correlate and think to myself, like, it's a thin line with the gangster, too. I mean, because even though we hearing a message, even though Malcolm, of course, Malcolm was by any means necessary, like he said, he preached that. That's what he lived by and died by. But when you saw that KRS-One, that Boogie Down Productions cover, and you saw him holding that gun looking out the window like Malcolm, but it still took for us to research and say, like, okay, where did he get this from? Okay, he got that from Malcolm. I mean, some of us didn't know. I didn't know. It was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So if they sneaking in the message through music, I mean, you gotta catch it when it's there. I ain't gonna even lie. I'll be one of the first to say, I mean, cause I don't know it all, and I didn't know it all. But being a student in hindsight, when I was listening to a lot of that music, like your Public Enemy, Chuck D, he really was. I ain't gonna say before his time, but my ears, it wasn't dissecting it like that. I mean, there was so much rap going on, and then the way they was explaining it and the way they was presenting to us with the rhyming and the teaching, you had to go study some of them names and stuff that they said in some of that music. And to be honest with you, some of that stuff I still listen to now. I mean, we was caught up in the beats and the rhythm and the movement and the clocks and the medallions and all that. We was into all that because it was fashion too. Don't get me wrong, it was a statement being made because it's pro-history, it's pro-black. But at the same time, we really didn't understand it. I mean, now if you had knowledge and all that, okay, that's something different. You was up on it. But as far as the average youth who just into hip hop and just following what we see on TV and just watching Flavor Flav dance and understand that he got that clock on and fight the power and all that. We seeing the movement because hip hop is gonna whatever hip hop got going on, that's what the kids gonna do. And that's why they don't want it like it is. They want it like it is now, but they don't want it like it was back then. There was too much education. KRS-One was giving too much education in them songs. You can still go back and listen to You Must Learn and just, you say nobody told you about Benjamin Banneker, all these names, such and such to build the walkie-talkie. Now see, I'm thinking of lyrics of this song, so just think, if I can remember all those lyrics and it's not a fad and it's fashionable and it's a statement, think how many people could be touched and teach. That's powerful. They don't want that. And when I say they, I'm just talking about the just masses or whatever, of just knowledge and information that was coming through music. I mean, because it wasn't clear. I mean, let's just be real. Although Chuck D was lyrical and he had message, it wasn't clear. And when I say clear, I don't mean like it didn't push through. I mean, it's kind of so much to dissect, because if you really think about it, because Flavor Flav, he still was kind of, I gonna say he was a distraction, but it kind of made it more like, okay, well, I can see how the masses can look at it, okay, like, let them have a little fun with it, you know what I'm saying? We don't know how strong it's gonna be. Like, they got the S1Ws up there, they showing the militant, they moving in power, they moving in style to just be like, okay, like, we serious. They moving in that type of direction with a whole team. But you got your Flav over here being silly. Even though he mean well and he just as powerful and saying fuck you just like Chuck D saying fuck you. But he just saying it his own way. So the masses can deal with that a little bit. But when we talk black history though in music though, how many rappers is really doing that though? Like I say, I don't want to correlate to this with positive. I know we had a lot of positive rappers. And all positive, they didn't throw all the black history in it. But I'm talking about people who were just saying like, you was the first. Naming people. I mean, going even deeper than Martin and Malcolm. It's some of them, it's some of them Karen West, it's some of them Boogie Down production songs you can listen to now and be like, damn, he was naming all these people way back then, and names you hear now and you'll be like, damn, I heard of that person. I mean, it's heavy. It's like, how can you get to that type of level through music? And who's going to let it just come through like that? And when they did let it come through like that, did they really know what they was doing? I'm talking about, because to be honest with you, I think, now this is my perspective. This is my wheels turning. I really think a lot of that music, that hip hop that we had, that was just untampered with back then, as far as the Ice Cube's, America's Most Wanted, the Paris, Brand Nubian, all these different people who gave you so much information and just game. I really don't think a lot of them labels was like really just listening to them albums like that, if that makes sense. I mean, they probably was listening to them, but I don't think they was just. They didn't. I don't think they knew. And I talked about this in one of my other videos. I can't remember which one. It's like they knew what was going on. They knew it was a movement, and they know people was. Of course, they want the sales, but they wouldn't. It took a while for them to really to just dissect it. But okay, man. Like they talking, but they really saying a lot. Like we gotta start censoring them niggas now. Like go back and listen to some of that. Fight the Power. That was a real big song and it was real commercial. You don't ever just wonder how sometimes, and I ain't saying that it can't happen, but you ever just think to yourself how certain songs just seep through the cracks and just be real big? That is really songs of power like that, or songs that really meant to be rebelled against the system, how they just end up so popular like that. I mean, do you ever just think about that and be like, okay, they let that one through, like what's the correlation there? Like, what was the reason to let that song through? And I ain't saying like we gotta back up off of it like something wrong with it, but they do get chosen. Even though it did parallel with the movie Do the Right Thing, which is definitely a class. That's one of my favorite movies. Definitely one of my favorite Spike Lee movies. And like I say, that all went together too when we talk about Black history and hip hop. That was all at the same time. You gotta remember, Spike Lee was over here making the movies. He was making the Malcolm X, making it Do the Right Thing, showing racism and showing different ethnicities having to be together on one hot ass day in was it Brooklyn? I think it was the Brooklyn. Do the Right Thing, where everybody just had their different area of the neighborhood, and they all had to just come together and separate and go through whatever they went through. Definitely cool to go check that out. But before into hip hop, let's get to hip hop. Let's get back to hip hop. But it's still all one and the same because it was a whole excuse me. It was a whole energy around at the same time that's saying let's put our messages out there, our history. It was a movement at the time. Like I say, you had your brand Nubians. You had Tribe was on what they was on, definitely. Because you gotta remember, their whole crew was the native tongues. They was on the history. But in the midst of all that, let's just speed it up a little bit to the 90s and 2000s, to where the reality rap started kicking in. So when the reality rap started kicking in, it's unfortunate, but you had to choose. Because everybody was on a positive. Let's speak on our history. Let's talk about how the black man is first. Let's talk about how we important. Let's tell people where we come from so they can feel better about themselves and stuff like that. But when the reality rap came in, unfortunately, we had to pick and choose. Like, what you want? You want your Public Enemy or you want your NWA? But even though it was a mesh to a little bit, and when I say a mesh, it was a time, like them early 90 years, I say from like 90 to about 94, they both was thriving at the same time to where you can still have your rappers that speaking positivity in your history and being black. But over here, you still had the reality rap and the gangster rap about to emerge. And although you did have groups like the Ghetto Boys and stuff like that who still was positive, but yet raw and on edge. It's so much. But I'm just posing the question though. Because on one hand, I want to say that hip hop did teach black history. Hip hop taught black history. We did. We was that voice. It's communication. Like I say, go back and study a lot of KRS-One. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. That's KRS-One. He's a teacher. That's why he was a teacher. And I already know with so many different rappers I'm gonna be able to think of. Once I press the stop button, it's gonna be so many songs that probably come into my mind to think like, okay, I could quote this whole song and just named all types of people that invented things and stuff like that. But you have to be willing to want the information though, because you got to remember, to some it was a turnoff. That's just how music is. It's like a real balance that you gotta have. If it sounds good, you can throw a little knowledge in there. But if it's just too preachy and teachy, it might turn some off. But hip hop is valued like that. Hip hop changed like that. But it was always them different rappers who had a voice and just letting you know about your history and where you come from. Like I got a song in mind, actually. This is a song that Common got. He got a song about Asada Shakur, which is a powerful song. It was off that Like Water for Chocolate album. I'm talking about, he just break down the whole story of how everything happened. And I mean, it's just powerful. I mean, history. If we can make history cool like that and sink it in through music, just think what we'll be as a people. Think what we'll be at, how quick knowledge will just be brought up on us. Just, I mean, even as kids. I mean, even when you was young, that's why you think we sing the LMNOP, you sing in certain alphabets at the end, or when you was taught your alphabets, you was taught it in rhythm. So just think if we had hip hop doing that for just years upon years, just telling you your history and telling you how you the first and how powerful you can be and where you come from or who invented this or all these different things that we don't hear or we gotta research. Think how powerful hip hop and music could be. So obviously it happened for a reason. And when I say it happened for a reason, to where it didn't just stay the way it was. Because I actually think it was making money. You can think about it. The Public Enemy was no slouch. And when I say no slouch, they was doing real big tours and they was on what they was on, Fight the Power. I remember Public Enemy was like, and I actually was a little bit confused about this when I was younger. They was like some of the first people doing real big tours and stuff like that. I remember as a kid, and I'm looking at Public Enemy going on tour with Rage Against the Machine, and I'm looking like, where did this shit come from? I didn't even know who Rage Against the Machine is or who they was, but I'm looking at Public Enemy because I know who Public Enemy was. But like I say, that's what this before like all the big tours and stuff was going on. But by me being a student and just listening to music, Public Enemy, they going on tour with groups like Rage Against the Machine. Even though some of Public Enemy music was borderline, had that little edge or that little rock to it. So that's why sometimes I think that's why I said what I said earlier. I think a lot of these labels, they was listening to the music, but they wasn't really listening to the music. They were just looking at it from the standpoint like, okay, the kids like it, it's moving, it's making some noise. Let's put some money up on it and let's move it. As a matter of fact, that's Def Jam, so that was Rick Rubin and all them too. So I know they had their ear to the streets. And he's a rock and roll guy anyway, so now it's all making sense to me now. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can see how the Rage Against the Machine and all of them tours and things come together. And to be honest with you, Public Enemy, they had a whole bunch of white fans. Let's be real. Even though Public Enemy spoke on what they spoke on, but they definitely had a movement that a lot of white kids was into. We can't just sit here and act like Public Enemy was straight up, And like I said, we had X-Clan too. Let me throw them in there too. X-Clan was teaching history, black history. It was a lot of groups. I'm trying to just think of many of this off the top, but like I say, Public Enemy, When I saw them going on big tours like that, I'm looking like, okay, where are we going with this? Like, do they really know what they like? Do the masses really know what message they pushing? And like, you would see Public Enemy and Flav up there saying, "Fuck Elvis" and all this stuff to a whole, and then you look in the sea of the crowd, ain't nothing but this white kids, motherfuck him and John Wayne, cause I'm black and I'm proud. He say most of my heroes don't appear on those stamps. I can go on and on. I mean, just think about when we had all that. I mean, Public Enemy was giving you the game. Like, know your history. Go look at it. They trying to put you up on it so you can just at least try to feel where you come from. But like I say, but when the reality rap came in, all that got pushed back over here. Like I say, you had to choose. Like, who you riding with? Like, what we doing? Like, what we doing? Because hip hop wasn't about to go nowhere. It wasn't about to fade away. And to this day, that's all it steady do is just change and change and change and change. Just pay attention to it. That's all hip hop do is just change, just go. Wherever region to go to, pick up some different people along the route, and whatever nationalities or whatever popping over there, whoever got the ball, who's swinging and making noise, that's where it stick at for a minute. Just like right now, everybody see. I mean, I can foresee it now, and it's starting to come out. And I ain't gonna say I was the first. Ain't like I was the first to be starting to see it. But you can see it now where it's about to swing to. This whole Afro beats thing, it's about to emerge just a little bit more. You can see it just coming to the hoods now. I see it with the parties. I see it with the energy. You just had it at the NBA All-Star game, the Afro beats. That's next. So hip hop is gonna always just move and just go where it's gonna go. You gotta deal with it. It might stay there a little bit longer sometime if it ain't no fad. Because remember at the beginning, everybody thought it was a fad this period. So it's always gonna move around. So you gotta just roll with the times and take it to your liking if it's something that you into. And if it ain't, just wait for the next wave or stick to what you know. But when we talk history, when we talk about black history and hip hop and people who was naming them, I'm talking about giving names and I'm talking about stuff that's in actual books. I gotta just take my hat off to a KRS-One. That's why he the most name I keep on mentioning. Now you can put some names in the comments I love to hear, or you can put some songs that I love to know that gave you black history. Matter of fact, that's the lesson for the day. Leave a comment of what songs and rappers had songs that taught you black history. What songs stand out to you? Because it's something that I think of, but the way the MCs just were, it went. I can't think of no one that did it on a better. I say better. I can't think of no one do the better scale than KRS-One. Even Rakim. I didn't even brought his name up yet, but Rakim, he was teaching black history. History was in the music. I'm talking about naming names and giving information. I'm talking about things that we'll read in a book and they just putting it into rhyme form and in a song. And just imagine, like I say, we was kids listening to all that stuff. It was sounding cool because we were still part of the movement, but we didn't really know where it was headed or how much that it could affect us if it would have kept going to steady give information, knowledge over and over and over and amongst all these songs, and it's still looking cool. And just imagine, okay, you got your teacher at school. When you go to school, when we was going to public schools, we'll see the teacher. Just imagine we had all these rappers who wearing the gold chain, looking stylish, looking fresh. Just imagine Rakim, the way he was, just imagine we had all the different rappers who dressing fresh, looking good, from the streets, getting respected, being cool, but they all give you knowledge of who you are, and they all give you black history. Just imagine that. Just imagine how cool it'd be for a kid to want to know their history. If you see the cool guy with the gold chain and everybody are pulling up in the bins and looking fresh, and he telling you your history, that message is going to sink in just even more because it's coming from somebody you respect. So just imagine if hip hop would have just thrived on that just a little bit more. But obviously they had to just go. They had to just say, "Oh, we got to break this shit up." It ain't no way around it. That's the only way I can see it. It ain't no other way. They had to decide, we got to break this shit up. It's too much. It's too much knowledge. Like, I don't even lie. I had a medallion on. I didn't even know what the medallion even just meant, you know? It was fashionable. Or we had remember we was wearing the Malcolm X Jackson's, all that. L Dog, what up? He say, X Clan, Poor Righteous Teacher, KRS One, Low Key, Chubb Rock. Powerful. You got a point there, L Dog. Yep. Yep. Even Chubb, you right. Chubb Rock was throwing some knowledge in there and teaching black history. Poor Righteous Teachers. Oh man, you can't even you it's nothing you can do about that. So just like I say, so just imagine if it just would have just kept on. Because somebody made some money off the medallions. Somebody made some money off them clocks. When Flavor Flav was wearing them clocks, I remember I had one. I remember here in Detroit. I didn't have no clock. Nas definitely promoted Black History. Oh yeah, Jamie. Oh yeah, Nas definitely. Black is beautiful. Yeah, he another one too. Nas, he teaches your history. You right, that's a good one. That's a good one, Nas. Like some people fronted on that I Can song. I'm glad you brought that up. That I Can song. Go back and listen to that shit. That's a powerful song. Especially that last verse, and he was just talking about, saw slaves, Greeks, and Romans, and all this stuff, and talking about Black history. Some people fronted on that song because they were talking about how he rapping like Slick Rick. Even though I think all that was about purpose, because I know Nas, he a student. And you notice how he rapping that song. He rapping as if he's talking to a kid. Go back and listen to that song. I Can. That's why he rapped in the style that he rapping on that song, and he using that type of, like I say, the slur. He's making it simple to like he's a teacher. He's rapping like KRS One, and he telling you like, don't be like this. But he's still giving you the history. Now I Can, that's a powerful song. But Nas got he got a slew of songs that tell you about your history and Black history. He's another good one too. Like I say, Common got some heavy. You had the Queen Latifah's, all that. She had you want to be a queen. I mean, where's those images at right now? As far as women being portrayed on a level to where they wearing the whole outfits or everything. Okay, what up, queen? It's like it got to the point now that whole queen shit, it just got commercial. You be like, what up, queen? What up? Shit, you say queen, first thing think you ready to just slide on in. You just on some some other shit, when you say queen, they're like, oh, you really don't, It's a compliment, but think of the value of it. When we had it untampered with, kings and queens, which we are. But I'm going to get into another poem piece, though. I got this one piece I wrote called American Me. I want to share this one. Listen to me. This one called American Me. They say this is my country. Nah, this ain't my country. It's just a place full of people where the rich exploit the poor, blacks can't get justice, and we ain't considered equal. That evil that comes within the views and when you choose to interact with a black man's soul got you aggressive, feeling possessive. Somehow now I want to have more control. Talking about the police. See, I don't believe they scared because they walk up prepared with their guns with a purpose. Ain't trying to de-escalate no crime shit. When you smell fear, you just want to hurt us. Listen to me. The tension within black men and white skin right now is so thin that when I tell my son how to face this world right now, shit, I don't even know where to begin. See, I don't even see uniforms no more. Like Malcolm said underneath, I think it's white sheets. You see, the list and got so long and started naming names, we done lost the whole catalog now in these streets. And I don't want to hear all that bullshit about black on black crime and Pookie killing Ray Ray. Because see, the difference is if they go to jail, but Officer Earl just gets suspended for a couple of days with pay. And the shit is on camera. So just let the facts be the facts. And making all these assumptions and what if stories ain't gonna bring these black men back. You see, we under attack. And it can easily be you or me. It's 2023 and we still ain't free. America me. Rap talk. That's that piece. Snap, 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 snaps. That's that poem and piece, America me. I thank y'all for tuning in, though. Be sure to put in the comments what rappers, what songs gave you Black history. There's so many people that deserve credit. There's so many places we could take hip hop. There's so many places we could take entertainment, period. It's just so much to be learned. I mean, because I don't know it all. We don't know it all. But like I said in that first poem when I first started the video, I say sometimes they're rewriting history right in our face. I mean, if you ain't gonna be one of the voices to be able to tell it, you know, like, how can it be? Jamie Ballard, snap, snap, snap. Appreciate you. It's just so much. You gotta be a voice. But I'll get with y'all in a minute, though. Like I say, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Flick this video to somebody, text it, start a conversation. Let's build upon some good conversation. Poetry and conversations. I appreciate y'all. Rap Talk. Get with y'all Thursday at 6 o'clock. Rap Talk.